The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus and his disciples reached the country of the Gerasenes, on the other side of the lake. And no sooner had he left the boat than a man with an unclean spirit came out from the tombs towards him. The man lived in the tombs, and no one could secure him anymore, even with a chain, because he had been secured with fetters and chains, but had snapped the chains and broken the fetters, and no one had the strength to control him. All night and all day, among the tombs and in the mountains, he would howl and gash himself with stones. Catching sight of Jesus from a distance, he ran up and fell at his feet and shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Swear by God you will not torture me." For Jesus had been saying to him, "Come out of the man, unclean spirit." "What is your name?" Jesus asked. "My name is Legion," he answered, "for there are many of us." And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the district. Now there was there on the mountainside a great herd of pigs feeding, and the unclean spirits begged him, "Send us to the pigs, let us go into them." So he gave them leave. With that, the unclean spirits came out and went into the pigs, and the herd of about 2,000 pigs charged down the cliff into the lake, and there they were drowned. The swineherds ran off and told their story in the town and in the country round about, and the people came to see what had really happened. They came to Jesus and saw the demoniac sitting there, clothed and in his full senses, the very man who had had the legion in him before, and they were afraid. And those who had witnessed it reported what had happened to the demoniac and what had become of the pigs. Then they began to implore Jesus to leave the neighborhood. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been possessed begged to be allowed to stay with him. Jesus would not let him, but said to him, "Go home to your people and tell them all that the Lord in his mercy has done for you." So the man went off and proceeded to spread throughout the Decapolis all that Jesus had done for him, and everyone was amazed. The Gospel of the Lord. In many other texts, and especially in the Gospel of Mark, we have found Jesus doing great signs and wonders, healing people, saving those who were possessed, and people were always amazed at his miracles and all the things that he was doing. But there is a difference today, that instead of people being amazed at what he had done, later on when the demoniac started to talk about what Jesus had done in his life, how God in his mercy had healed him. But there before, the people are opposed. And this is surely a pagan country, because you will not find people keeping pigs amongst the Jews. The Jews would not want anything to do with pigs. So this is surely a pagan country, a pagan town. And these people do not keep the law, and they do not regard anything as important for them. They are pagans. They do not believe in the law. They do not believe the teachings that were handed down by Moses, and anything to do with righteousness or a moral life. So they were considered, these were pagans. These were considered sinners. All these people who are living in this land. And having a head of pigs was even more pointing to the fact that they were pagans. But this is what happens when people don't know God. This is what happens when people don't have a relationship with God. That everything changes, everything turns upside down. It is not important. Things that are really morally important are no longer important for them because really they do not care. As simple as that. Now, instead of being happy that this man who had been possessed for many years, who had been living an isolated life in the mountains and in the tombs, who had been cutting himself with stones, has been healed, has been set free, and people do not think about him being set free, but instead about the swine, about the pigs that have been lost. And we could say that this is a story that happened in the time of Jesus, but this still happens today. When people begin to lose God in their society, then things begin to turn upside down. There is no more value for life. There is no more value for the dignity of the human being. Because once God is lost, then we lose everything. Once there is no light, then darkness is sure to come. If you turn off the light in the room, then you are sure that you are going to be in darkness. Once there is a light, then darkness is going to leave. And when there is God, then there is bound to be light. There is bound to be a kind of a moral standard, and people can live in peace and unity. Now, at the moment, the world is in chaos. It is so difficult now to define a true morality. Of course, we know what is right and what is wrong. But the world has come with its own morality. Many countries, because we have lost the sense of God, we have come with our own morality, and people are more confused now than ever before. People do not even know now, is it right to commit an abortion or not? People are not sure again. People just say, it really depends. And then there are cases, people are making cases and trying to find reasons why we should kill a child. And others say, no, we should not. It was just I was amazed when I was watching it. There was a program on BBC just last week about those who are for pro-abortionists and those who are for against abortion. And you can see people arguing out, making sense, trying to make sense of the fact that it is right to kill an innocent child. And that is when we become pagans, that we do not even have any moral value again. It is not important for this man to be healed of the demons that had possessed him for a long time, more than the pigs that are lost. And they say, Jesus, you have to leave our territory now because you are causing disturbance. What is the disturbance that Jesus caused? That he restored the person to life, that he set him free from the demons, a legion, not only one demon, but the legion of demons that had possessed him, or that the pigs had been lost. And that is why now, once there is money involved, then people are ready to kill. It doesn't matter if people lose life and I get the money. It doesn't really matter. And that's why politics today is a very dirty game, because it has to do with bloodshed. People have to kill in order to stay in power. People have to kill in order to take up positions. Even people have to kill in order to win positions in small things like firms or in an office or something. People even have to kill because of jealousy. And all that's because we have lost the sense of God. The morality is no longer there. People just countries are defining their own morality now. People are defining their own morality. I can't talk more of abortion. Homosexuality now, talking about same-sex marriage. And there are people advocating for it. And it says that it is right. And you find reasons for that. And it's a big pressure on the church. Others are bending down to it. Others are still standing. And all those because we have lost the sense of God. What is God saying in our situation? Is it about what is comfortable for us or what God has put in place for us? Jesus said in his word in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 and 18, everything would pass away, but not an iota of the law would ever change. Nothing of the law is going to change. Nothing of what God has said is going to change. We might go up and down, we might do all the gymnastics that we want, but that will remain forever. And this is the law of love, the love that Jesus showed to the people who were in bondage, people who were going through difficulties. He showed them love, and he reached out to them in their situation, and he set them free. And this is what society doesn't want. Society doesn't want life. It doesn't want people to be set free from their bondages. It doesn't want people to submit to Jesus. And of course, when the demons saw Jesus at once, they submitted to him. The man ran, he came and knelt in front of Jesus, and he submitted to Jesus. My dear brothers and sisters, it might not be demons that we have. It might be different things, attitudes, sinfulness, addictions that we might have, that at times makes us to feel like we are not supposed to go closer to Jesus because we feel we are unworthy. But it's so important to know that he has powers to change everything and every situation in our lives, insofar as we submit to him, insofar as we run to him, crying out for mercy. And he's always ready to show us that law of love by setting us free, by relieving us of all of the difficulties that we go through, by changing our situation and making us to receive the salvation that we truly deserve.